When you finally get what you've been begging for, 20 uninterrupted open hours on your calendar, nobody warns you about the ultimate psychological crash that follows. You think getting out of the daily grind will feel like an absolute victory, but the first time your team handles a major crisis without even sending you a text, you don't feel like a successful CEO. You feel completely useless. Look, I'm Brooke Plack, a multi-7-figure operator who built an operations empire from my garage, from scratch, directly in the trenches with raw, real hard-earned knowledge. And I don't give you theoretical fluff. And the only way I successfully bought 20 hours back on my calendar is because I implemented a strict process of standard operating procedures and hiring playbooks to create a systematic fire myself from operations plan. Because the honest truth is, when I first did it, I felt like a failure because fundamentally I was addicted to being busy. Today, I'm going to break down the step-by-step systems that I use to reclaim not only the 20 hours, but also my emotional and mental peace about it and the identity shift that you have to survive to actually protect your freedom. And stay till the end because I'm going to reveal the one calendar boundary. Oh, it's so hard, that separates a high stress job from a true scalable business asset. So let's look at the blueprint, because the real realization comes when you tell yourself that you want freedom, but you are subconsciously keeping yourself trapped in the execution layer by solving daily fires to make yourself feel more important and more validated. And step one from getting out of this mindset, of getting out of this to put the hero cape on, run in, save the day moment, is you have to actually not drop your standards, not let your profit margins collapse. You must record yourself doing daily tasks using video workflows or simple Google documents or step-by-step sheets. And you can even link them just in a Google Doc. You don't need an expensive system. You don't need any crazy tech flow or hire somebody to document all this stuff for you. And it permanently, once you document what you're doing, it permanently removes you from the system, and it removes your brain from being the structural bottleneck that was causing you to have to work so many hours in the first place. And if you are ready to transition away from being that structural bottleneck, be sure you subscribe and make sure you follow us, because we're dropping new videos every week to help educate business leaders and founders on how they can get their lives back while still scaling their businesses and multiple revenue streams. All right, step number 2 is to survive the silence. So what happens when the system actually starts working and your inbox is more quiet and your Slack notifications stop flashing all the time and you're not getting Teams chats? You hit a deep phase of mindset and identity pain, realizing that you are not instrumental in the success of the daily operations of your business. And it is an ego shift. And it's not always easy in the beginning, but it is completely and totally worth it. And out of sheer boredom or the desire to feel useful, you'll want to snatch those tasks back from your team or start micromanaging their work. They don't need that. They need the autonomy, the responsibility, and the authority to complete their positions and their roles all the way without you. And when you have to realize that you need to step back into the execution. When you step back in there and you have that need inside of you, it's a form of sabotage that will not only ruin your team, but it's going to ruin the success and the growth of your company. All right, step number 3 is upgrading your delegation playbook. So you need to move from passing off simple task to passing off true operational ownership. So if you can give someone the vision of what it is you're wanting done, don't worry about how they get it done. Every single step of getting there, if they're getting to the end result that you want, it doesn't matter how they do it, as long as it's getting done well with fidelity, in line with your core values, and headed into the same direction as your mission that you've laid out for your company. Now, if they don't know the mission and they don't know the vision, there's going to be a struggle there. There's going to be a disconnect. And that's when you have to turn around and look at yourself and go, what did I do to lead to this? And if you allow your team, though, to make mistakes, like within the safe boundaries and without jumping in to play hero, they start to gain confidence and become proud of themselves. And you don't have to babysit the outcomes of every single thing that they're doing. And the last, most important thing to remember when you are looking to fire yourself is that there is this proactive, strategic window. So to get to the 20 hours that you want to reclaim, you don't just go I'm out, right? You have to redefine for yourself, what does a productive day look like? Because if a productive day doesn't look like constantly answering phones and responding to customer emails and putting out fires, what does it look like? You are no longer judged by how many emails you answered or how many customers are happy now. Those 20 hours have to be reprioritized for deep work, for what's next for you, for what's next in your project, what's going to serve you and serve your mission. What is in alignment with who you want to become? What is the future version of yourself? Do you have a story for that? And when you take a minute to slow down and really think about what's coming up and what's next, your margins will grow. Time, financial, relationally, and you start to map out what long-term growth looks like for you, for your assets, and for your desires. Because true leadership discipline means mastering the silence and not always looking to fill it up with something else busy. Because reclaiming your time isn't always a logistical challenge. It's an emotional test. If you continue to measure your worth by how exhausted you are at the end of the day, you'll always be living inside of a cage, and a cage that you built instead of an empire that you're trying to build. Because having the structural courage to fire yourself from the chaos, to add some distance and start leading your company like a true architect is no small feat.